right, hey, Matt, we're live.
What's up, guys? Matt Bentley, got Nathan Rogers, we got Jace Williams in the back, MMA Futures, on another road trip, heading to LCS. Some exciting stuff this weekend. We got the weigh-ins tonight, I've got a comedy show tonight, and then obviously we got a big night of fights tomorrow night.
You know, and on top of that, I mean, you got Bellator Friday night, Saturday night, you got UFC on Sunday night. I mean, we've got plenty to talk about on this little trip on our way to Scottsbluff, Nebraska.
Yeah, man, we got some bangers from fights coming out this week. We got MVP and Paul Daly. You've got Kanan and Ganyu. Who else is scrapping?
Big Country's fighting against
Big Country and Crow Cop. Darian Abbey out of Cedar Rapids, out of Down to Fight MMA. He's fighting on the Bellator undercard. So yeah, man. So I mean, yeah, we got plenty to touch base on.
Well, and a guy that we're familiar with, Anglicus, is fighting for a title out in Des Moines with
Julius out of
LFA.
Yeah, out of St. Charles MMA. We got to see him fight out in North Platte. Julius, got to meet him. Super interesting cat, super interesting story, very down to earth, very humble guy, looks the part, puts the work in, and yeah, man, I think it's pretty hard to bet against that guy heading into that fight this weekend.
Also on that card, you know, my man Crazy Carl Whitstock is fighting on that card.
There you go.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Anglicus. I mean, we saw him just a few months ago out in North Platte. Fought against a tough opponent in Jacquees Williams.
No, he fought Erdman. He fought Lunchbox.
Ray Erdman.
He fought Lunchbox.
Right. Man, that guy is a specimen. That guy there showed up, and Brayden Erdman's not a joke.
No.
And made him look bad.
Yeah, man. And then on the lower end pro side of shows that you get to go out to, you know, like I'm not talking about like actually in the UFC or Bellator, you know, he's as close to King Leonidas, I think, as you get. You know, I mean, the guy looks the part. He showed up, chiseled to death. He did take on a heavy-hitting, good wrestler in Brayden Erdman. Yeah, he controlled the fight. He won the fight. You know, hands down. Like, it wasn't. I don't want to say he walked through Erdman, but I don't think he really, you know, got a super stiff challenge either.
I mean, do you think if he looks good tonight on that LFA fight, that he's going to get that phone call to take the next step?
Man, you know, like as we've seen, like over the last couple of years, like I think it's harder and harder to get calls from the UFC. You know, I think that maybe 5-6 years ago, this one win would probably put him there. You know, unless it's a short notice fight or something, I think he's probably going to have to defend the title, you know, once or twice before he gets the call. You know, I think that the UFC, obviously, they've got over, you know, 400, 500 guys under contract right now. You know, I don't think they're like begging or dying for anybody at any certain weight class. So I think that Anglicus is probably going to have to defend the belt once or twice. But, you know, LFA is the place to do it. You know, I mean, that's the UFC's baby brother. You know, and so yeah, I think if he can prove himself there, then yeah, I think for sure he gets a call, like in the next 12 months, for sure.
I'll tell you what, RFA is a well-run organization. They've got a lot of guys that have come through there. They've really kind of taken the step up with them. You know, Ed and Sven, who pretty much run the show there. Those two are some of the best managers, promoters, at that regional level out there.
Yeah, and then as far as the regional circuit goes, they deal with some of the best in every region they travel to. You know, so like obviously we're close with Train, you know, that works for DC. He helps those guys out a lot when they come into the Nebraska territory. They're getting ready to head up to Des Moines, so you know, so they're dealing with some of that stuff and some of the guys we know out there. And then obviously Jeremy Bjornberg out in Minnesota, you know, so like they're dealing with top-notch promoters that are like helping them put them in contact with the best fighters of every area that they get to travel to.
Hey, we see somebody in there watching. We're happy to see you guys. It's kind of new for us. We figured we'd give it a shot. We talked about recording this stuff on the road before, and we figured out why not just go live and and see what there is. If you've got any questions for us, hit us up. Hopefully we can see him on our little device here. Who knows?
So let's talk about. So we got the Bellator fights tonight. You know, let's start with Roy Nelson and Crow Cop. Who you got in that number? This is a rematch. They fought each other once before. Big Country got the nod. How do you see this thing playing out now?
Man, it's tough. I mean, you're looking at a different world when you start looking at Bellator. Their drug use, their doping rules are not quite the same as the UFC's. You know, I think, man, it's tough. I think Crow Cop's, you know, he used to just be a beast killer. He's getting old, but he's still out there winning fights.
He is winning fights, but then, like, one thing that got brought up, I think Big Country brought it up the other day, that Crow Cop showed up and, like, he looked in the best shape that he has probably in the last, like, 7 or 8 years. And so, even though Crow Cop tested negative for any PEDs, Roy Nelson still has been very boisterous and, like, very loud about the fact that he thinks Crow Cop for sure is drugged.
But let's be honest. I mean, when it comes right down to it, this fight's really going to be where does this fight end up? If it ends up on the ground, man, I think Roy's going to, you know, lay and pray. You know, use that jiu-jitsu, do what he does. If it stays standing, I don't see Roy, you know, I see Roy getting gas. I just don't see Roy making it through 2 rounds of standing with Crow Cop.
Roy always has that one punch power, though. He's always got that overhand that he's going to whip out there, you know, like Harrison Ford and Indiana Jones with that whip, man. I mean, he's going to whip that thing, and if it lands, you know, he definitely has a chance to put you to sleep. But I think that Crow Cop obviously is the more skilled fighter on the feet. Nelson obviously the more skilled fighter on the ground. But it also depends, man. One of my biggest problems I've always had with Roy Nelson is just the fact that he's out of shape. You know, I think he's a legit martial artist, but as far as like an athlete, I don't know if I could cross over and call Roy Nelson an athlete. You know,
I mean, he's a legit jiu-jitsu guy. I think that's kind of where he stands, apart from the others. But I'll be honest with you.
But I've also been in the elevator with him during fight week when he had 2 fistful of Burger King bags. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the week of the fight.
Right.
You know, like I've been on the elevator with him when he had 2 hands full of Burger King. You know, so
I mean, I like Roy, but I don't think he gets past Crow Cop in this. I really don't.
No, I think Mirko gets the nod here. What about MVP and Paul Daly?
I'll be honest with you. This is the fight that I am most excited about all weekend.
Yeah.
I think that this is where MVP has the opportunity to actually beat somebody. You know, he's fought against a couple of decent fighters, but I think he's fought a lot of bums. But I think
just Dave Rickles, and I'm not saying this because I'm friends with Dave or that I've got a lot of respect for Dave. You know, Dave Rickles is probably the stiffest test he had, and he walked through my boy Dave.
Yeah.
You know, so like, but other than that, bums.
Right.
He's fought bums.
So I do. I think that they've groomed him for this fight. I think this is the fight that I think that Bellator wants him to win this fight.
No, yeah, I think for sure
that to make him that poster boy. I think this is that poster boy fight for MVP.
Yeah, well, and here's the thing. I don't think Bellator ever brought in Paul Daly because they wanted him to be a world beater or a poster boy.
Right.
You know, I think Paul Daly adds some legitimacy to the couple of weight classes that he fights in, but he's not Bellator's boy.
Right.
You know, I think MVP is their John Jones.
And I don't think that they really wanted this fight to happen the way it has, but because of that welterweight tournament, you know, it's the way that the cards fell.
Yeah.
But I'd rather see him fighting against Daly than say Rory.
Yeah, and I think MVP probably gets the nod here. I personally hope Daly starches his cocky ass. I can't stand him. You know, all the moonwalking in the middle of your fight, and you know, like it's one of those things that like that's not my bag.
Yeah, but you know what? He's a guy that's come up in the fight game as a showman.
And that's fine,
that's kind of what he's there for, and he's really, in all honesty, I mean, as long as he can keep winning, he's going to be Bellator's Conor McGregor.
Golden boy, yeah, for sure. But I hope he gets starched.
So
Hope he gets starched.
You know, and I gotta pick MVP in this, but it could go either way. I think that if Daly could take him down, I think that it's
Paul Daly cannot be overlooked in striking in any facet or level of the game. Paul Daly is a legit threat on his feet. I think he's a bigger threat than MVP on the ground. And so, Paul Daly has a chance to win this fight. Like I said, I'd probably give MVP the nod, but I hope he gets his chin touched. And we'll see what happens, man.
So, now what about the big UFC card on Sunday? It's the first UFC card on big ESPN.
Yeah.
This goes back. It's kind of funny to see that the first card on ESPN has got Kane in it, and the first card on Fox was Kane versus JDS.
Yeah, man. Ngannou obviously is like, as far as power and devastation and termination and like end your life shit, Francis Ngannou is probably the scariest man walking the face of the earth to me. I don't think you can watch that highlight of him uppercutting Alistair Overeem's soul to the heavens and not be worried about that guy. Kane's been off a long time, man.
That's the thing that I see.
He's been off a long time.
He's been just fighting injury after injury after injury. Every time we see him try to come back, he ends up with another injury.
Yeah. At the same time, I'm gonna say that Kane trains with one of the best camps on the planet. He's also a guy that I guarantee the team he has surrounding him, as far as physical therapists, massage therapists, anybody to help with anything like that as far as rehabilitation goes, Kane has surrounded himself, and the UFC has surrounded him with the best possible people.
Well, and here's kind of, man, there's so many unknowns in this fight. But Ngannou's been off for a while too, trying to get his mind right. Man, I want to see Ngannou stop a takedown. I've heard somebody else say that, but come on, let's be honest. He's gonna have to stop a takedown against Kane.
Kane's not the one, unless Ngannou does a good job with framing and like stopping him on the initial, that half second that he has to stuff a shot and then get a strike off. He's not gonna sprawl Kane. He's not gonna go get his whizzer in and stop Kane. Like, if Brock Lesnar can't do that, Francis Ngannou not gonna do that shit, man. Right. It's not gonna happen. So where Francis Ngannou is gonna have to find his success stopping the takedowns, it's gonna have to be distance management, and it's gonna have to be using a frame and stuffing him and striking right away.
I mean, my concern is that if Ngannou gets taken down, the fight's over.
I don't think that's a concern. I think it's a certainty. So I think that if he gets taken down, Kane's gonna maul him.
And I think that's what Kane's gonna want to do. Kane's obviously, he's getting older, his chin's getting weaker. I feel like, he doesn't want to take any shots from him. I think you're gonna see.
Kane already said in an interview that I read this morning, I'm going for an early takedown on Francis Ngannou. I think Kane's a smart guy. I think that the more time he has to get back in the cage and adjust and just get the jitters and just walking out there. It's been almost 3 years since the guy hit the cage last, So, like, just get the jitters and the bugs and everything out of your system. Just walk out there and pick up a W. And the easiest way for Kane to do that, being the All-American wrestler that he is and having the pedigree that he does, is to put Francis Ngannou on his fucking back and then beat him up. And I think that's exactly what Kane will do.
Well, man, let's take a step back. Let's look at where we're actually heading. We're heading to a local show. We'll be live on the MMAFutures.com tomorrow night. Matt here will be calling it, and I'll be obviously pushing the buttons.
Man, always a fun show out here in Scottsbluff, dude. LCS, they do a great job.
Well, they bring people from all over the place, which is...
They do.
It makes it awesome. We don't know the guys real well, but it does bring a lot of guys from all over the place. They got 3 title fights tomorrow night.
Well, yeah, and then like even a guy like Sam Humphries. Look, Sam's from Cincinnati, man, and we got to see Sam. Sam's a striker, loves his Muay Thai. We got to see him fight last time that we were out here. So we get to know these people from different Midwest territories that are coming into Scotts Bluff. Scotts Bluff in location to us guys is about an 8-hour trip, so it's more like in the Denver market than it is the Omaha area. So it does provide us with an opportunity to get to know more and more not only just Nebraska, but like Midwest talent overall.
And for us, it's a ton of fun because we don't, we typically see the same guys over and over and over again.
Sure.
And we come out here twice a year, typically twice a year. It ends up being a great show. They pack the arena, and they've got some. And we'll be honest, some of them are terrible fights, some of them are great fights.
Yeah, man.
They got a couple of good guys out there. We're going to see Terry Van Hoosier fight tomorrow night. Terry's that guy that I always remember because he's got plugs in his ears and always has to wear tape over his ears.
Yeah, and then Terry, Terry he's got a great ground game. He's training with William Ellis now out at Paxuco Combat Club. He's got a slick ground game, man. Like it's always exciting to see. Like I said, Sam Humphries is showing up with his Muay Thai background. We got Terry showing up. He's got a slick jiu-jitsu game. We saw another couple names on the card.
Well, and so in the main event, who's just fighting against Dominic Blanco?
Yeah.
And not a guy I know a whole lot about. Apparently, he's an older school guy. He's been around the game for a long time. Took 4 or 5 years off.
Yeah.
And now he's back. And this is the guy that Terry Van Hoosier's making his pro debut against.
Yeah, man. And it's always exciting, especially for like guys like me that, when I was 15, 16, we were fighting in bingo halls and stuff like that, before the sport was actually regulated. And a guy like Dominic Blanco, he's another guy he's been around a long time, you know what I'm saying? So it's exciting to see a guy like that step in against a young, kind of up and coming, cutting his teeth in the game kind of fighter, So I'm excited to see how that new versus old goes.
Yeah, the nice thing about this card here is we got guys from Colorado, Nebraska, Ohio. I think Edward Peralta's from Kansas or Oklahoma.
Yeah.
He makes a pretty good drive. This kid here, man, had really bad luck. Last time we saw him, he was beating the kid he was fighting against, ended up with a broken arm, and ended up taking the L in a fight he was winning.
Yeah.
It happens to everybody. We see it happen all the time that these guys are winning the fight until they lose it.
Yeah, well, and he's fighting Willie Schwarzkopf. Willie Schwarzkopf obviously coming off of the last fight I know that he had anyways was against Andy Carter, which obviously there was a lot of animosity, a lot of just kind of like frustration on both sides heading into that fight. And then Andy picked up the W with a guillotine win. And then obviously there was a lot of drama afterwards. Andy jumping the fence and people fighting in the crowd and stuff, which was unfortunate. Willie Schwarzkopf he's a legit threat. And then him fighting, tough as nails. What's the kid's name again? The kid with the broken arm from last year?
Edward Peralta.
Peralta, yeah. Him fighting Peralta, I think that's a tough fight. I think it's a fun fight to watch. And that's probably the fight that I'm the most excited about to be able to call come tomorrow night.
Well, man, you know what? There's been a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. Be sure we'll have our, if we make it in time for weigh-ins, we're dealing with some snow. But if we're there for the live weigh-ins, we'll stream those live right here on MMA Futures, on our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
We actually have a little bit something special for you tonight that we'll probably be streaming with Matt's Comedy Show.
Yeah, look, Campfire Stories, guys. Super excited. It's a different kind of comedy show. I am going to be telling, some setup, punchline type jokes, but the whole idea was to try something different. And so we're going to tell some stories that, like I said, you would tell your friends sitting around a campfire drinking a couple beers and then make fun of them and ridicule them for the end of time. So that's kind of where we're at. So
we'll be posting some interviews with some of the fighters, probably with at least Willie and not Schwarzkopf, Terry Van Hoosier and Dominic Blanco.
There you go.
Maybe some of the title fights. Just depending. Once again, we're dealing with some nasty weather heading out there.
Hey, but I forgot to say we got Nika Dimitrievov on this card. the Russian Hammer. That's my chick. Can't wait to see her fight tomorrow night. You guys should be excited about it too.
And if nothing else, be sure to pick up the pay-per-view. It's $12.99. You can check it out on MMAFutures.com. You can actually pre-order right now at MMAFutures.cling.com. That's CLEENG.com.
I even know that shit, so good news.
So we'll have, but that will be live on the MMA Futures website either tonight or tomorrow morning for you to also buy it. We look forward to doing this some more, and let us know what you think.
I'm sure you guys will hear more from us throughout the weekend, throughout the day today, as we get set up for the weigh-ins tonight, get set up for the comedy show. Look forward to talking to you guys then.
And we're out.